Welcome back to the Yellowjackets Team Huddle, Season 2, Episode 5, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Two truths and a lie.
Yep.
And I don't know if you thought this, but when I saw last week that this episode was called Two Truths and a Lie, I was expecting a lot more of that actual idea than what we actually got.
Yeah,
But
a
that
little
scene was
bit.
still really good.
I mean, you could technically look at it and say, who else is lying here? And like throughout the episode, who's telling the truth? I don't know. It kind of sounds like Walter's always telling the truth from what he said this episode.
Yeah, I mean, if the entire episode is based off that one time they play it, really the title should have been called Three Truths, No Lies.
Yeah, because there was a lot of truth. I mean, the only lie that Misty tried to tell twice, I guess she did. Misty's the person who was lying in the past and the present when she
Mhm.
tried to pretend that she didn't actually destroy the black box. I was just kidding. And when Walter accused her of murdering Adam, and she's like, "You think I'm capable of murder?" It's like, "Yeah, Misty, maybe your acting skills aren't quite there."
And he's
Because
like,
we all know that that's, like, exactly what she's capable of.
and Walter was just on board for it. He's like, yeah, I
I loved
mean,
it.
you have all the traits of a killer, like you're charming, you're charismatic, but
You're
like
thoughtful.
I'm here for it. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
I mean, like, he's like, "Yeah, my grandma killed my grandpa, but, like, she never missed a birthday." And I'm just like, I love this because I was really worried that especially when he twisted the conversation and was like, "Oh, so maybe you killed Adam." Like, of course, as a good citizen detective, he's like, "I looked into it." But I'm just so happy that he seems to be in on it. It was just a great parallel episode for Misty, really, like, the comparison between in the past when she was friends with Crystal and thinking, "Okay, it's my best friend, I can now tell her everything." Whereas now she's clearly learned from that because she's our girl, and,
Hmm.
now she's, like, being all hesitant to, like, really let Walter in, so it's interesting because it seems like he would have been the person that you could admit something like this to, and he wouldn't bat a fucking eye, right? He's maybe the
Right.
one person in the world that you could tell this to, but I was screaming at the TV, "Misty, please don't tell her." Don't tell anyone that you destroyed the black box. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do.
It was just yeah, I saw that coming when they're at the cliff. Oh boy. What
Well,
an
I mean,
episode.
since you mentioned Crystal, I mean Kristen,
Kristen, yeah, she's gonna
as
be
we
Crystal.
learned, uh, I thought it was. I mean, R.I.P. to Crystal. I mean, she got a pretty bad death, and she was killed. We knew she was gonna die since we met her in the first episode of this season, and she's
Yep.
been there the whole time. But it's like you died, and you were actually named. Whereas the other person, I'm looking at the IMDb right now, just called Yellow Jacket Number One. The y- Yellow Jacket Number One outlived the named person.
Well, yeah. They have to give us somebody that, like, we can I mean, there's the only real thing that we all thought as soon as Misty got a friend was this isn't gonna end well, because
Yeah.
we know who fucking Misty is, right? We've learned, and she's never had friends, so it can't be like, "Oh, she's never had friends, I bet her first friend, it's gonna be the most perfect friendship. Because if so, like, yeah, right. I just did
Well,
not I expected her to die, I will say. Terrible death on top of she just dumped the shit. So did she
yeah,
land on the shit?
yeah, definitely.
She landed on the shit and fell with the bucket. I mean, just worst timing. I would have been looking out for that on the way down.
You can't even eat her now. She's just
Mm,
covered in shit.
wash her. She'll be fine. They clean it.
I mean, I was a little disappointed. I thought that Crystal might have survived the fall because she has the extra strength from when she ate her twin
You're right. You thought
in
maybe
the
that was gonna
womb
come back.
when she resorbed the
Yeah.
twin.
It's like she was almost creepy enough to keep up with Misty, but not quite. There's like a whole nother level of sociopath between her and Misty, and that was she finally got to see that. And I would say Misty scared the shit out of me
Oh
when she
yeah.
was like, "I will fucking kill you." And then
Yeah.
I actually was most surprised, I think, about this scene that Misty didn't push her. It was accidental. I
Mhm.
guess. I mean, she was, like, put, like, kind of, in her
Yeah.
face, threatening to kill her as she fell off the cliff, but still a mistake.
Well, and I think the scariest part of that is that we learn that Misty is she's a little bit into incest. She watched her parents fucking and didn't look away.
That I mean, that's not like, probably the least weird thing we've learned about her so far, so I just kind of glazed that, just went right by me. But yeah, I do feel like I was expecting her to maybe, like, push her a bit more, so it's interesting. I'm curious to see how that develops since, like, she just said that she got lost and couldn't find her, and now none of the girls have seen what happened yet, and if
Mhm,
they'll figure out, like, well, why'd she fall backwards instead of frontwards if she was, like,
mhm.
lost wandering around, I don't know.
Yep. So I have a theory kind of on this.
Mhm.
I think the the transmitter or whatever it's called,
The black box.
the black box, I think that is still a secret to this day.
Ooh, that is an interesting theory. You don't think that's why none of them wanted to talk to Misty all this time? That's what I always thought. They must have learned
I
that right, like, at the end.
n No, I think that Misty does some more fucked up shit.
Wouldn't put it
Uh,
past her.
but I think they're gonna learn about the black box in the present day
Interesting.
at
I
some
mean,
point.
that would be shocking to me because I feel like I've read other people too theorizing that, like, when they eventually get found, they're gonna, like, investigate the crash site and whatever, and that, like, they might find the black box and realize that it was smashed. So it's like they would all assume it was fucking Misty. I don't think anyone would not if anyone's sabotaging anything secretly, it's fucking Misty, and I think last season, Nat, like, knew to check her glove box when she, like, had pulled that wire out of her car, and
Yeah.
so I feel like she knows that, like, Misty fucks with shit so that she's needed,
Yeah.
and I don't know, but I would be whenever they find that out, it's not gonna be good for Misty. That's gonna be, something you'd think you can't come back from because that's pretty fucked.
That's gonna be worse than Nat lying about Javi being dead.
I mean, right? At least Nat had good intentions. Misty did, I guess, for herself. But like, what do you think Jackie and Laura Lee would say to that? This is because of you. Great.
Um, she dies, and then Jackie and Laura Lee are there. Just,
Yeah.
"You bitch."
Well, so what's also like kind of funny, just since we're talking about the whole like I know Misty and like this the cliff death was interesting to me because earlier in this season when Ty is like sleepwalking and the other one is like following the guy with no eyes, he leads her to the cliff. So I'm wondering if like because that thing clearly represents death, right? Because like
Mhm.
she saw it for the first time when like her grandma died. And I'm thinking like it showed the cliff and I feel like it was showing her like where someone was going to die and then like now it happened,
Mm,
so I'm wondering if maybe Ty's gonna be part of, like, the one who chooses who is to be sacrificed? Maybe because she's associated with the death thing? And, like, I don't know, but I'm wondering that because I thought it was interesting that she would bring her to the cliff, and then,
yeah.
like, there's a death there, maybe depending on I don't know, maybe they have to sacrifice near each of those symbols or some shit because that's
Mm.
also where a symbol was, I think.
Well, so I saw this, and I wasn't sure if I was late to the party on this or if everyone knows, but they they pick out the chores by drawing cards.
Yes.
And so I think the queen at whatever point that is they're gonna do that for how they determine who dies.
So, that's something that I picked up on maybe the last episode or an episode before, but just recently. But I think people have theorized this for a long time, but I know that, like, one thing that I had to double check and rewatch this episode for was because somebody else had caught the fact that, like, when they're all trying to get Javi to talk about where he's been gone, after, like, Travis is like, he'll talk when he's ready, in the background, one of the girls is like they're like, "Javi, where did you get this queen card?" Because, like, I guess and other fucking citizen detectives out there have already picked up on the fact that, like, either maybe last season or something when they found the deck of cards, they were like, "There's no queen." So then
Oh.
Javi shows up with the queen. I wonder if its eyes are, like, also scratched out, and then it all comes back to Dark Tie again and that
Oh.
she's the friend that he had out in the wilderness because he says, "My friend told me not to come back."
I was gonna ask you, so is that what people are thinking? Is that dark tie?
I think so, or a lot of people think that, like, because there's pictures that Ben is looking at, and they look like pictures that Javi's been drawing since he got back, and one of them is, like, the tree stump, and it has, like people can, like, see a woman in it, like, it looks like the shape of a woman, so they're, like, thinking it could be, I don't know, some sort of, like like, I don't know, some weird creature out there or, like, a little, like, fairy, fuck if I know. Um, I've heard a bunch of different stuff, but for me, I don't know about that. That would for sure, like, get us into that supernatural territory. I think we're still gonna stay on the line of this. I think it's
Mhm.
gonna be Dark Tide because in season 1, 2 or sorry, wow, 1, 2. In season 1, when Ty's son is like when Sammy's like, "Oh, the bad one, there's the bad one." We were
Yeah.
thinking like, "Oh, is that a spirit? Is that something else?" And then it turns out it was just, bad Ty, dark
Yeah.
Ty. So I'm kinda thinking the same thing here, and that, like, she was just like, obviously she knew where to find Javi, clearly, when she found him, like, it's gotta be something like that. What do you think?
I mean, I've heard it seems like the obvious thing would be dark tie. Um, it was Shauna who told him to run during,
I was wondering if could be Shauna too, yeah.
but there's nothing really hinting at that. So
Except
dark
for the
tie,
fact yeah.
yeah. The other one thing I heard about the spirit or the drawings is that potentially maybe the antler queen is none of them. Maybe the antler queen is like something that was already in the woods.
Yeah, then again, we're getting into the others territory. I just don't think they're gonna do it. I think they're not going that direction. It would kind of be cheap if there was something else, like some other woman out there.
Well,
Um,
well,
and it
what?
kind of looked like in the vision that Natalie had that, like, she was wearing the fucking thing. So that's why I still think it's gonna be a rotating seat
Yeah.
for whoever gets it that time. I don't know how they're gonna decide it, but it's definitely like I don't know. I'm just curious to see if Javi tells anyone anything else. Like I think it's important to note that he talked to Ben only because Ben is the only one who didn't eat Jackie.
Hmm.
So I think that pretty much confirms that Javi saw them all eat Snacky.
Yeah.
So he saw them all chow down. He's definitely not talking to any of them.
Yep.
So that would make me think it would maybe if it is Dark Tide, just because that's like a very different person, obviously, is what she
Yeah.
like that they've even said. So
Well, speaking of dark tie, I called it last week. Dark tie hooks up with Van.
you did call it. That was I said that. Damn it, Jace, how'd you know? Like as soon as she's back, she doesn't even say hi. It's like Dark Tide just fucking makes out with her right away. Loved it. I kind of like Dark Tide, honestly. She seems like she just gets the job done. She just knows what she wants and fucking does it, you
I
know?
was I was gonna ask you if you had any thoughts on what she meant when she kisses Van and then she's like, we're not we're in the wrong place, or like we're not supposed to be here.
Yeah. I think that
Like,
means that they are all meant to go back to Lottie. I think they're all going back to Lottie's compound. By the end of the season, they will all be there.
okay, so this isn't a lost situation where they're like, we have to go back to the island.
No, 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 no. 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 I mean, maybe I do think, like, in that way, not necessarily that's what it is, but, like, I think by the end of the season, they're gonna be getting back in touch with their roots of, like, this ritual, weird cult shit that they started up back in the day. I do think just speaking on Taissa for a minute, loved her in van scenes in the future and, like, them being like, it was just oh, it was so good, but I really liked her character's turn this episode, and I was not expecting her to, like, already be, like, going to the, like, not prayer stuff, but kind of like her little I mean, it's
Hmm.
basically like a fucking just mindfulness. It's like using that Headspace app.
Yeah.
Literally just breathing, getting in touch with your body and your surroundings. It's not, like, harmful that way, but, like, it is interesting that Ty just is already doing that and that she's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, and I'm not sleepwalking anymore." Like, I was just surprised. I thought it would take her a long time. I thought she'd be more of, like, the leader of the other side that's rational. So I kinda feel like after this episode, it looks like that's gonna be Shauna and maybe Natalie. They're the only 2 that seem really like, of the women that are totally not into the religious cult shit at all.
Yeah, but based off the kind of the end of this episode with that Natalie, future Natalie and Lottie scene, it seems like there is at some point in the past like some resolution between them, and then something else happens that splits them up again.
Yeah, who
But
fuck knows at this point? We don't know anything. And another thing too is that we talked about like when did Van and Ty ever break up? And I think Van they talk about how they went to
a
Jeff and
wedding.
Shauna's wedding. So everyone's
Yeah.
like, that was like, a couple years after the wilderness,
Yeah.
probably. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that they would be together then and then still break up later, or maybe they were just friends. I don't know, but interesting. I think just off the way they behaved, I think we can safely assume that Ty is the one who ended things.
Yeah, I feel like they are going to have to introduce at some point soon kind of like a third timeline of right after they get rescued.
Mhm.
You
They
know, because
might.
there's a lot of stuff of like what happened when they got back, like how long was it before Jeff and Shauna kicked things back off? What was
Yeah.
the fallout with Jackie? Like how did all that kind of play out? When did Ty and Van break up?
I'm wondering, yeah, I'm assuming I don't know if we'll necessarily get a full, like, 3rd time frame as another plot line, but I do think, like, eventually we'll be seeing a lot more
Like
of that.
flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely will. I mean, it was interesting already just to start off the season with that for Lottie. I guess we
Mhm.
kinda got her answers, she was locked up in a fucking insane asylum and, like,
In
electrocuted and
in
shit
Sweden or
in
something.
Sweden. I mean, it seems like the nicest place, I guess, to go to if you have to. But,
There's worse places you could be in a
there
mental
is
asylum.
there is, and I do think also too, I'm interested to see Lottie and Misty next episode, like, coming back together because,
Yeah.
like, Misty was so surprised, and I thought she was so adorable when she was "I found everyone. I
Mhm.
mean, everyone." And she's like, "But clearly not," because, like, how did she not find Lottie? Lottie's, like, off the fucking grid then. Like, how the fuck did Misty not even find out anything about this?
Well, it seems like the only person who knew about Lottie was the private investigator.
Yeah, because
So
Ty had her dig shit
so
up, but it's
so
like,
Ty knew.
that means that that private investigator was better than Misty. Misty is really off her game, as Walter points out. She's
Well,
just distracted.
if Misty was a full-time PI,
Yeah,
I think she'd be
totally.
fine, you know?
She's got a lot going on. She's kidnapping and fucking, withholding medication from her elderly patients. She's got a lot. Caligula, cleaning out his cage.
Alright, so I wanted to talk about my favorite vice on Yellowjackets, my
Mhm.
fear boner lover, Shauna.
Yep.
I I lo I feel like the last couple last couple episodes, she's kind of she's had a little bit less going on. Like, she was doing a lot of crazy shit in the first 3 episodes, and
Mhm.
then, like, the last 2 episodes, she's just like, "Yeah, I'm backing off. You guys can have your time to shine." So I'm really just waiting for Shauna to do something insane. But,
You mean, like, give birth in the next fucking episode?
yeah,
That is gonna be a nightmare.
the the whole I loved both of the future scenes when Shauna and Callie, like, have this moment of bonding over, like, covering up a crime,
And lying to the cops.
and Jeff's just like, "What the
Yeah, he's like,
fuck?"
"Wait." Their responses, how different they are when she says things like, "Promise you won't get mad," and he's like, "Okay," and then Shauna's like, "No," and then she's like, "I told this guy I was seeing about your affair, and he's a cop," and then it's like Shauna's like, "A fucking cop?" Jeff was like, "How old is he?" Like, their just priorities are so different, and I was getting major, like, there's no book club energy from Jeff
Yeah.
in this whole scene because he's just so taken aback by everything that both of the women in his family say at any given moment, and I did love, like, Callie has this, like, she really turned around for me from the beginning when she was just kinda being a bitch, like, whatever. Now she seems to be like, "Did I do good, mom?" Like, I like this
Yeah.
for her, and I was like, "Yeah." I mean, come on. If I found out my parents were doing shit like this, I'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna run this place now. I can do anything I want to, and it will not be as bad as you fuckers." You know? Like, she
Yeah.
she should really be, and now that she's, like, getting in with the family biz, I mean, I know this cop is gonna die. He has to go. He sucks. Is
Mhm.
it gonna be Callie or Shauna who kills him?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question.
Mother-daughter tag team?
Yeah, it might be a bonding moment.
I mean, it's like her daughter's older than she was when this happened, probably are about the same age, so,
Yeah.
it's about time she murdered somebody.
The
Join the family business.
I loved the whole fake affair scene so much.
"Don't you dare think about me,
Don't you
Randy."
dare think about me.
And I love that he's like, "Jeff didn't really tell me was, we were supposed to do, just, like, hang out in here, and, like, he told me not to touch you." I love that Jeff has to add that in too, like, "Don't touch my wife."
Well, and then Randy has the best line of the entire episode when he's jerking, and he's like, "Come on, Rand dog."
So gross. And the fact that he can't do it and he uses the lotion is just disgusting. Like, might as well not even leave the condom behind. There's no point if it's not real. And the fact that that guy got way too close to it to sniff it was, like, really bothersome.
Yeah, Jay, you have a lot of problems,
He's
but
got a he's as James Franco says, and this is the end, "That fucker's gots to go.
gats to gear.
Gots to go." Somebody's gotta fucking kill him. I'm more hopeful for, like, Walter making it out of the season alive, and I think, if Misty'll let him, maybe they could be something, or she'll just kill him like Shauna did with,
There's
Adam.
no way that Elijah Wood is making it out.
But he's so
But
cute in his fucking khakis.
but, um oh, dang, I just had one of those moments where I just forgot what I was gonna say.
Did
But,
you wanna talk about which 3 famous people you would invite to your sleepover? Like
uh
Misty and
oh,
them talk about?
we can do that. I was gonna say real quick that with this latest thing of Shauna faking an affair, I think we have all the evidence other than Dark Tie. We have all the evidence that Shauna is the most diabolical of all the Yellow Jackets. Misty is a close second, but just between the Shauna killing people, she's killed multiple people. Let's just assume.
Well, we've only seen the one. Let's
I
give her
know,
the
I know.
benefit of the
I'm saying
doubt.
let's assume
Okay.
uh she's definitely flayed someone. I don't
It
I
did
don't
sound like it.
that sounded way too life experience.
You would never know that unless you've, skinned a person, I'm sure. Hopefully not alive. I don't know if she's done that, but wouldn't be surprised. I mean, are you telling me you don't think Misty is, like, an active serial killer? Like that guy that she was trying to get into her house in the first episode of the show when Nat's waiting for her, like, "Hey, Misty, you crazy fucking bitch." She could just be trying to get that guy to come in and, like, have a date, but, like, what if she's a murderer?
She
I don't
could
know.
be, and if she is, then she's the craziest one of all,
She's
but
like the jigsaw of the group because necessarily we haven't seen her kill people. She kind of like tells them things and then they do it. Like Jessica, she didn't straight up like stab her or anything. She, injected morphine or whatever into her fucking cigarettes and then she OD'd when she inevitably wanted to smoke them. Just saying, it's kind of like Jigsaw. She gives you a choice. Maybe not knowingly, but
maybe. I don't there's a real darkness with Melanie Lynskey's portrayal, and I think Christina Ricci, I think she's doing a great job of being really dark, but not seeming too dark. So I don't know. It might be a red herring, but
I mean, the way
genuinely
that she
scared.
was watching that fucking rat drown in the pool in, like, season 1 as a kid, you're like, yeah, that's straight up serial killer behavior." However, she does have a lot more emotions than a serial killer, so she might just be a different type, maybe not
Very
straight up
true.
Dexter, but, like we've said before, her and Dexter are, like they would be perfect for each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I want Misty to be happy is basically all I'm saying.
All right. So, 3 famous people. I should have prepared this more.
You told me to.
I know.
And you didn't come up with yours?
I can come up with some on the fly.
Okay.
I feel like this question would change almost every time somebody asks me for it. But the
Mhm.
one thing I know for sure is Misty and Crystal. That would be the most boring sleepover ever based off who they picked.
Yeah, no, they're yeah, Play-Doh, really? Of course. I love that they're both like, "Duh, Play-Doh, duh, of course, what?" Yeah, I'm just on a totally different wavelength.
All right, so give me yours.
Alright, it's not gonna be surprising, though. Number 1, Lady Gaga. Obviously, she just seems like a fun hang, right?
Okay.
Also, Samara Weaving also seems very fun. I love her in a bunch of movies. I'd probably just want to talk their ears off about everything and like get their fucking inside facts about what they do. That's really all it is. And Florence Pugh as well. I mean, she's gorgeous, first off. I'm gonna definitely invite her over.
Oh,
But
we know why you're inviting her
I
over.
mean, who we know why everyone's inviting her over. But also, I'm just like, I love her personality from like it just seems like she's fucking cool. These all just seem like cool fucking bitches to hang out with and party with, and I feel like that's what I'm going for a sleepover. Play-Doh, get out of here. I don't wanna have those kinda talks. I could have a deeper talk with Lady Gaga for sure. So
There you
that's my
go.
list.
I am shocked that Johnny Depp is not on your
Well,
list.
it's like if I invite one guy, then I need to like really I mean, I can't just be I'd be all over him for the night. So I'd really just need to I was thinking about it. If I was gonna invite a guy just to like mix it up and have a fucking blast, I'd probably invite Jack Black. I just feel like that guy is cool to hang
Oh,
out with.
oh yeah.
He's hilarious.
So okay. So my three. So the way I was thinking about this is like I can't I can't bring on like two people that are buddies because then I'm the third wheel.
Yeah, no.
So like my immediate thought was like, all right, Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey, those guys just seem like a fun time, a good hang.
And
But
according to recent headlines, they actually might be brothers in real life, which would be explain a lot, but like even worse for being the third wheel.
all right, so I'm going with three people that are not really connected in any way, but I think would just be a good hang, good time, lots of stories. Yeah. So you mentioned Jack Black. I think Jack Black just he's no matter what, you're gonna have fun.
Yeah, he can get along with everybody. He's
You're right.
hilarious.
Um, and then I think another personality that would be a good addition to this melting pot, Dan Levy from
Oh,
Schitt's
yep,
Creek.
100%.
Like I would just love to see him and Jack Black talk to each other.
Yeah, I love this. Let's
And
have
then
that happen. I would be into it.
third one, I'm probably a little bit biased because I just finished Poker Face, but Natasha Lyonne.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
I think that that group of three. I don't think I'm saying a word at
Yeah.
that sleepover. I think I'm just sitting back with popcorn
Yeah.
and some weed and just having the time of my life.
Yeah. I did
It's
think
like a real life sitcom with
that's
those
what I'm
three
saying.
people.
I would just sit there and watch these people too. I'd be like, "Oh my god, like the fact that I'm even existing and breathing in the same air would be the coolest thing ever." But I think yeah, I would just sit there and like watch and I'd record it like a fucking creep. I did think if I did want to invite someone over to like get hella high, like a weed, sleepover, Seth Rogen's on the list. He's got those really cool fucking bongs and pieces now with his houseplant business. And he's like, he's just the guy I think of for weed. So
Oh yeah. All right, wild card. You got to include one more person from Yellowjackets
ooh.
in character. So not the actor, it's the
Juliette
character.
Lewis, AKA Nat.
So you're looking for some potential destructiveness.
I want a
You're
fucking party.
adding a little risk, some danger to the mix.
Yeah, or Misty maybe, I don't know. I kinda love
Misty
Misty.
with all of them. That's high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I kinda feel like I'd be a good friend to Misty, not that I'm like I mean, don't come at me to be friends if you're a serial killer, but, like, I do feel like I'm a people pleaser, so, like, if she had told me that she destroyed the black box, I'd be like, that's okay." Like, we all have moments of weakness. Like, I think I just, explain it away for her, so she'd probably exploit it.
I think I would definitely add Jeff.
Ooh, yeah, Jeff would be fun. Not Randy.
And I
Randy,
uh,
he'll eat all your Fritos.
come on, Randog.
Yeah, and he's, like, fucking spewing out strawberry lotion, so no thanks.
And all I'd have to do to get Jeff to come is tell him it's a book club.
Yeah, he's all about the book club,
All
so
right. Well, that is it for this week's Team Huddle.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.